Hey everyone, JJ coming back to you from the dungeon, just down here, doing the typical day off things, cleaning and messing around and with drums and listening to music and such. And I was particularly excited today. I received a very cool item, test pressing from Furnace Records for an upcoming project of mine that's yet to be mentioned on the channel or anything like that. I'm waiting until we get the actual physical copies that people can buy before I really get into it. And the test pressing doesn't kind of give away any of the artwork or showcase any of the things, the bigger ideas we put into the project. But I am listening to the test pressing and giving feedback on that. So hopefully we should have something soon. But I'm also down here listening to other music today, and so I thought I would get into one of my all-time favorite hard rock bands. I have a lot of favorite bands. My wife says all the time, she's like, every band is your favorite band, but it's just how I think about music. I have favorites, and then I have more favorites. Maybe you're the same, I don't know, but these guys are definitely one of my favorite bands, and listened to them for a very, very long time. And for anyone doesn't know Dokken from the 80s, let me tell you something, you're missing out on some fantastic songs and just a great, great band. And the album that I particularly love from them is this one, and it's Under Lock and Key. So my introduction to Dokken, I've mentioned many times on the channel that I always watched a music video program, and it featured a lot of bands. And back when I was younger, radio wasn't featuring a lot of heavy metal. There was some hard rock focused stations, but it was kind of hard to get exposed to new bands. And the music video program I watched was great for me. It was a great resource to find, out about all the classic acts from rock and roll and just things I didn't have access to. And so part of me wants to say I may have discovered Dokken initially or been exposed to them through that show. And it probably would have been a song or the video for the song Breaking the Chains, which is, probably Dokken's most well-known song. It was on one of their earlier records, I believe, from 1983 or 84, something like that. The name escapes me completely at this moment, but the song is pretty well known, and the video was always making its rounds on that music video show. And so part of me wants to say, perhaps I heard that song on the radio at some point. Maybe one of my older brothers might have played it, might have seen it on the music television show. But another part of me wants to say that as a lifelong fan of horror movies, and being able to watch these horror movies at way too young of an age. There is the Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, that series of movies. Part 3 is called Dream Warriors. Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, Dream Warriors. And Dokken wrote a song for the movie soundtrack that's called Dream Warriors, and there's a very good chance that could have been the first Dokken song I heard. It's definitely the one that's kind of stuck with me the most through the years. If I think of Dokken, normally Under Lock and Key is my favorite record from them, but if I think of a singular song, almost always I'm going to the Dream Warriors song. And the music video for that is really amazing too. It's got a cameo appearance from Freddy Krueger. And back in those days, it was like the songs came out along with the movies, and like one kind of blew up the other. If the movie was a big hit, then the song would be a big hit. But if the song was a big hit, it could make the movie a bigger hit, sort of thing. Top Gun, Highway to the Danger Zone. Like this kind of stuff was happening, and it doesn't so much happen anymore, but different times, different place back then. So yeah, there's a very good chance that Dream Warriors from the Nightmare on Elm Street movie may have been kind of one of my very first early exposures to Dokken, and that's a great song too, and a great movie if you haven't seen it, but that's a topic for a different day. But this album, I kind of got this album much later on. Like I didn't really have it in my collection on CD until I was well into my teens, and kind of started revisiting some of the 80s bands that I really liked when I was growing up. And at that time I'd only ever hear a song or two, but getting the full album was kind of like CDs were expensive, so it just didn't happen all that often. So I ended up getting the first Dokken album, and then probably this one sometime around that same time. And this is the album that really kind of like cemented how much I love the band, and just like how great of a band and how great of a songwriter Don Dokken is. A great band nonetheless, but I don't really know the dynamic amongst the band. It's always been kind of like said that Don was, they were Don's songs, and he had the members come in, and obviously they contributed. George Lynch, massively talented guitar player, and Jeff Pilson, who's an amazing bass player, an amazing vocalist as well too, and I think he plays in Journey now. He's in some amazing band. He's had an amazing career outside of Dokken as well. And then Wild Mick Brown, who was probably lived up to his moniker, but great drummer nonetheless. And another kind of like, he had a large Tama drum set similar to kind of what I'm playing, and another kind of at least through the pictures and the media that the Dokken was releasing, another kind of early influence of mine as well. And but this album, if you're going to check out anything from Dokken, I'd highly recommend this one. It opens with the song Unchain the Night. I've done a bunch of covers from Dokken over the years, and I can't remember if I've done some of these songs in particular, but just listen to the album versions anyways. There's some amazing stuff on here. Unchain the Night opens the record. It's great chorus and just amazing production on this whole album. The Hunter, which is probably my favorite song off this album. It had this really cool music video, a black and white music video about kind of like the band on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood, and it's just kind of like a gritty music video that I thought suited the song really well. But the song is just amazing like hard rock song, and such a catchy guitar riff, and just so well done. Like in the chorus is really amazing. Don Dokken's vocals are he's one of the best vocalists. He's not your typical like one of the best vocalists of the 80s, I should say. There's a lot of vocalists, but of the 80s hard rock genre, he's definitely one of the best. And he has a very like signature element to his vocals. He's not really the soaring kind of Steve Perry or like a Rob Halford type or Bruce Dickinson type. He has his own like unique kind of character, but just instantly recognizable, and a great kind of like a rasp to his voice almost. It's like a smoky kind of like a darker timbre to his voice and stuff. It's just, it suits the music so well, and he's such a great singer. Unchain the Night, The Hunter. My favorite song is The Hunter off this, but the next song on it, In My Dreams, another amazing, just like big chorus rock song. Like there's just so many of these. Slipping Away is kind of a more mellow tune, but still good nonetheless. Lightning Strikes Again is like an up-tempo, a really good kind of like a hard rock song. I think it's got some double bass elements to it. I'm trying to think offhand. It's been a while since I sat down and played along with it, but I think it has like some kind of like shuffly type of double bass element to it as well, which is cool. You get to the next side of the album, It's Not Love, another amazing, radio kind of rock song. Could have been. I don't know if it was ever on the radio or not. And then you get to kind of the end of the album, and there's I've listened to side A way more than side B for the most part, but Till the Living End, Will the Sun Rise is kind of like the ballad, I guess, if you want to call it that. And it's not really one I listen to all that much, but it's amazing to think that side A of this album is enough to kind of like cement it as my favorite Dokken album. But just amazing, and the production on this. Oftentimes, like a lot of my friends, and we're all into the same thing, and we all grew up, the great thing about the album format and, having this large format with artwork is that you can actually like read the production credits. And, so I'm not the only one. I'm sure a lot of us and a lot of people I know as well, we've all spent time listening to the album and also going through the credits and seeing who did things. And this one is just like you've got Neil Kernon and Michael Wagner. And if you know 80s hard rock, those names need no introduction to you because they're essentially rock royalty when it came to producing this style of album back then. Some friends of mine had an album produced, or I can't remember if it was just produced by Neil or if it was also engineered or something by him as well. But it's like these names just kind of carry so much weight in this world and with this style of music. And, Michael Wagner did some massive records. He's just, I can't even think of half of his discography now, but look up his credentials and you'll see he's one of the greatest producers of the 80s. And, it's just such a cool record and such a cool time. And say what you want about, the look of the band. It was, they're all wearing, ladies' business suits essentially on the album cover. But, it is what it is. I take nothing away from any of that stuff. I never wanted to dress like that, but good for them for pulling it off. But, for me, it's like the image is one thing and the music is ultimately what I end up caring about. Like, if I only saw this picture, there'd probably be almost no chance of me listening to the album. But luckily, I heard the album first. So, but yeah, the music is ultimately what I care about the most. And sometimes the image is secondary, and sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it detracts from the band, whatever. But if the songs are good, that's ultimately all I care about. But yeah. Very amazing album, very amazing band. If you've never checked out Dokken for any reason, I definitely say start with this one, or just go, watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3, listen to the song Dream Warriors, and tie it into the movie, and you can have that whole connection with it. And these guys wrote some great songs, and there's a lot of kind of a tumultuous relationships in the band, and everything. It's a shame to see that everything kind of feels very contentious with these guys now. And there was probably a dynamic where a lot of the infighting perhaps led to some of the creativity and perhaps some of the spark. I don't really know. Sometimes that dynamic is present in a lot of bands. But if you see interviews with the guys individually, it's like they all kind of have. It's like the Kiss, the original lineup of Kiss. Like everybody has a book and they all have their own opinion about what happened, and I did this and you did that, and it's no different with Dokken. It seems like Don Dokken has come back in the spotlight a little bit now. I know he had an issue where he had kind of lost, crazy story. I don't know the details that well, but he had somehow lost the rights to the name, his own name, and wasn't able to use it. But I think he's gotten that back now, and so Dokken was kind of doing some appearances. I know a few years ago they played kind of like a one-off show. It was like in North Dakota or something like that, and I don't know if it was the full original lineup, because I know Wild McBrown, he did an announcement a few years ago now where he's basically, I think he's unable to play drums. I think he's fully retired. And the other guys are still, George Lynch is still probably playing with somebody somewhere, in Las Vegas or something. And, and Don is still, I think Don is still performing and probably has a whole new lineup at this point. But, catching them is, it's, if you catch them live now or something like that, it's not the same, and it never could be. This was a magical time in music for a lot of people, and the spark and the money was behind the production and all that kind of stuff, and we won't get that back again. So I kind of cherish the albums and stuff like that a lot more than I do, or the music videos and the media from that time. I cherish that a lot more than I do going to catch these guys live now. It's never going to be the same. And it's Don's voice has kind of changed over the years too, and he's still able to sing very well, but age is it catches up with everybody at some point, and never gonna be as energetic as when you're a young man. So, but anyway, long story short, this album is an amazing picture of the 1980s hard rock. So many great songs. I don't think if you put this one on, if you're in the mood for something along those lines, that it will disappoint anyway. So if you haven't checked out Dokken, Under Lock and Key is a great place to start. I encourage you to check it out, and yeah, maybe you can dress like that when you listen to it. Who knows? Anyways, this has been the one about Dokken, Under Lock and Key. Cheers.